Hi class, in lesson 4.3 you will be learning about fraction decimal equivalents. Learning targets for today, you will write fractions as decimals. Key terms to look for in lesson 4.3, terminating and repeating decimals. Turn to page 253. We are going to start lesson 4.3 with problem 2, making fractions and decimal equivalents. As you have learned, decimals are numbers that are written in a system based on multiples of 10. We have 4 examples here: 3/10 written as a fraction and as a decimal, 71/100 written as a fraction and also in decimal form, 305 thousandths written as a fraction and as a decimal, and finally 24 10,000ths written as a fraction and as a decimal. Let's now think about fractions that do not have a denominator of 10 or a power of 10, because they can also have decimal equivalents. If we look at the examples, they are going to show us how to write an equivalent fraction with a power of 10 in the denominator and then to write its decimal equivalent. Remember, to write an equivalent fraction, you are going to multiply or divide by the fraction form of 1. In the first example, I have the fraction 1/5. If I multiply by the fraction form of 1 2/2, I can get the equivalent fraction of 2/10. 2/10 then can be written in decimal form. Writing it with the denominator of 10 can help me put the fraction into decimal form a little easier. If I look at my second example, 12/400, I can divide by the fraction form of 1, which is 4/4, to get 3/100, and easily convert that fraction into decimal form. My third example, 3/4, if I multiply by the fraction form of 1, 25/25, 75/100, I can then convert into decimal form. And finally, 54/600, divide by the fraction form of 1, 6/6, to get 9/100, and convert into decimal form. So think about that if you are dealing with fractions that do not have a denominator of 10 or a power of 10 in order to determine a decimal equivalent. Turn to page 254 and answer number 2 with your group members. The equivalent fraction and decimal for 2/5 should be 4/10. For 7/20, we should have 35/100. 13/25, we should have 52/100. 3/8, 375 thousandths. And for 54/200, we should have 27/100. Answer number 2, letters A through H with your group members. For number 2, letter A, we have 7/10, B 7/100, C 7/1000, and D 7/10,000. For letter E, we have 5 9/10, F 59/100, G 59,000, and H 59/10,000. The patterns that we should notice are that the decimal point is moving to the left 1 place each time that you are dividing by 10. Answer number 4, letters A through C with your group members. Number 4, letter A, we should have 2 and 208 thousandths, B 900 thousandths, and C 9,023 10,000ths. Turn to page 256. I would like you to answer number 6, letters B through H with your group members. Remember, when you are showing your work, please make sure that you are using traditional division in order to convert each fraction to a decimal. Number 6, some decimals were terminating, some were repeating. Hopefully you rounded each to the nearest thousandths place. A, you should have 125 thousandths, B 300 thousandths, C 600 thousandths, D 286 thousandths, E 333 thousandths, F 444 thousandths, G 520 thousandths, H 350 thousandths. Please answer number 7, letters B through I with your group members. Again, when you are showing your work, please use traditional division to convert each fraction to a decimal. Again, for number 7, maybe some repeating, maybe some terminating decimals, rounded to the nearest hundredth for letter A, 11 hundredths, B, 22 hundredths, C, 33 hundredths, D, 44 hundredths, E, 56 hundredths, F, 67 hundredths, G, 78 hundredths, H, 89 hundredths, and I, 1 and 0 hundredths, or 1 whole. This will conclude our lesson on fraction and decimal equivalents for 4.3. Please let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.